Hey,
Dow.
everybody. Welcome to Tea Time Topics. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Tea Time Topics where we have political debates and hot takes. First, we'll be talking about the wall that Trump is trying to build. Anybody want to start us off?
Actually, I thought we were talking about abortion first.
We're
talking about the wall first.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, so you missed the
So-
music, Carter.
Yeah, honestly, where's
sorry.
Pink Floyd at?
I don't
So-
know.
Oh,
Shut up.
So,
All right, so should we
we
wait
seven
around?
white
You
men.
shouldn't
Should we
be
wait
right about
around
the
for a few
microphone.
viewers before
wasn't
we
me.
start?
Yeah, sure.
It wasn't me.
Can everyone hear each other?
I can hear everyone fine.
yeah.
Am I good?
How's my sound balance?
I feel like
How do I
I'm
sound?
quiet.
Hey folks, can you hear me at all?
Yes, sir.
I feel like I'm quiet.
So
compared
once
to
we get a
everyone
few
else.
You're not
viewers,
I'm not.
we'll start
Yeah.
it.
Am I quiet?
We have 10.
We have 10.
You're
All
right.
right.
Yeah.
So,
Wait for 20, then we'll get started.
Yeah, just don't.
Hit him with the sixth.
Okay.
alrighty. Well, I think we should
Let me
start
just
off
bring
with-
up the fact that Trump promised 200 times that Mexico paid for the wall.
Is-
200
Is
times.
200 a verifiable fact?
Yes.
It is.
It's over 200.
We can look it up on the MacBook if you want.
Wait,
Nope.
but yeah, so
Nope,
we would
nope.
be paying
What
for this
happened to
wall,
no plugging products on this, just in case we get... I think that...
Oh God.
It's fine. It's
We
fine.
are not
that's for
endorsed
my
by
own
Apple.
personal cloud.
or
No,
Twizzlers.
this is sponsored by Apple.
But actually,
Guys, you should all go buy some
by
Rice
this
Krispie
teapot,
treats.
we're
Yeah, we're all
sponsored-
still mad
sponsored.
clipping.
Yeah,
It's
we're still
fine.
clipping. It's
okay.
fine.
Whatever.
Why didn't...
It's just in your ears, guys. They're not clipping.
Guys, it's just
Yeah.
in your head, man.
How many
It's
viewers
all
do we
in
have?
your
It's all in the
head.
mind, you know.
It's all in your head,
It's a
bro.
How many
social
viewers?
construct.
Breathe in
Doesn't
the
matter, bro.
air.
We're gonna start.
All right, so
All right.
Breathe.
So wait,
Let's start with the
let me just-
introduction again and go through everyone that's here.
Oh yeah, so any of you who just joined, this is Tea Time Topics, where we have political debates and hot takes. I'm Kyle Gunning. That's Satchel Moore. Say hi.
Hi.
That's Adam King. Say hi.
Hey, I'm Adam King.
That's Nick Spodik. Say hi.
Hey.
As he takes a sip.
Hi, this is John Kelly.
That's John Kelly. Say hi. That's Carter
John
Ramsey over there.
Patrick
Say
I'm
hi.
over here. You can
And that's
answer.
AJ Dion on sound.
How's it going, everybody?
Alright.
AJ Dion.
Let's go.
What is going on?
We're gonna start this off talking about the wall that Trump
We're
wants to
not
build.
clipping.
Who wants to
clipping
start
so
that off?
much.
I
The
think
wall
John-
that not only he
All right,
wants
let's
to
start
John
build.
Terry
positions
coming.
first.
Positions. We're gonna go around
Positions.
the table.
Going around.
Kyle.
Kyle, you start it up.
I believe we should have no border control. We should just have checkpoints.
What?
That is
Well,
border
it's-
control.
so it's like a
control,
very
Kyle.
minimal
That
border
is
control.
border control.
So
So
yeah,
skeleton crew on the
just-
border
just-
What do
border
you-
control.
just very, very,
Okay.
very minimal.
We'll get into that reasoning
Get
later.
on.
We
me.
will. We will.
Satchel.
Satchel, go ahead.
This
What?
closer.
Oh, I don't support
What's
the
your
wall.
position?
Changed my mind.
Okay.
Pretty much
okay.
it. I just don't see any benefit to having a wall.
Okay.
Adam.
Pro wall. Build it. Go.
I am pro border security.
Okay.
It's a complex issue, and I'll get into that later.
Oh yeah.
I'm pro border security, but not necessarily a wall.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I'm
Okay. Never mind. Go ahead.
I'm
Sorry.
pro wall.
All right.
Oh, did we introduce Carter Ramsey?
Yes,
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah.
We
sir.
introduced everybody.
And then we have AJ Dion over there on the
Sound
Who wants
sound.
to, who wants to start it off?
All right, so I think that we haven't addressed the fact that Trump is holding federal workers hostage until he gets his wall built, and I think that's completely unacceptable. Does anyone like to go against that?
Well, I mean, what you have to understand is currently we do have a Democratic-controlled House, and in politics, people tend to focus on a central issue to help the voter understand why a certain policy is being, kind of perpetrated. But I feel like the budget is not being approved more about other contents of the bill as well as lack of funding for a wall. So it is a bill proposed by a Democratic
Got him,
controlled
Coach.
House. And I think that there are other, things, maybe like more funding for the Affordable Care Act, which, Trump has been vocal about wanting to decrease some funding for. Maybe a little bit more funding for Planned Parenthood. Trump did
Oh, yeah.
campaign
Yeah.
Not
on,
necessarily getting rid of.
remove funding for that, but I think there's
Not
more
removing
funding
it, but
issues
like-
than just the wall. And I think that the Republican Party and the Democratic Party as a whole are focusing on that one issue because it's a trigger issue, much like
It's
the-
easily accessible to voters.
Exactly, it's easily accessible to voters. It kind of defines each party's stance on the whole immigration policy as a symbol.
Yeah.
But I think that it's about a little bit more than just the wall. Or maybe I'm wrong, I will concede that it probably is very important to Trump that that wall get built. He did campaign on that, but I think it might be a little more complex than that and have a little more depth than we give the administration credit for.
I kind of I
But
thought it
shutting
was,
down the government for 22 days
Yeah, but-
isn't an effective
Yeah,
negotiating.
well,
Yeah, but
no, this
I
was-
made a point
yeah,
earlier about how
it's
talking about like if there
childish.
was any other like president trying to push for this wall, like the Democrats wouldn't
Which
be
I
shitting their
I agree
pants.
with though.
Yeah.
okay.
Well, the Obama administration did allocate a lot of funds for a new border fence.
Yeah.
At
And
the
nobody
beginning
cared.
Of his
Whenever-
Yeah,
administration.
wasn't that like a really short fence though? Just like
Whenever
as
there
a
is
marker.
a
It wasn't like
Democratic
an actual
president,
wall. That was like
No, it's an actual
certain
wall.
areas
high.
along the border
it's
do
not a
need
wall,
a
it's a
wall,
fence. There's
but
a
not the
difference
whole
between a
border.
wall and a
We
fence.
can't build a
Oh,
whole
okay.
wall
No, no,
over
you're
It's
right.
steel
You're
wall.
right.
It's like 30 feet tall, right?
Yeah. It is a little bit
Yeah.
different. But Obama was historically tough on immigration. He did deport many people. He did increase border security. It's interesting how people
And nobody
forget.
cared.
Yeah, I know. It's just
Nobody
whenever
went off on it.
there's a
well, not that nobody
Trump
cared.
is just
Here,
polarized.
I
Kyle,
mean, we're
Kyle,
talking
guys.
about it right now.
whenever there's a Republican president, the Democrats go crazy. But whenever there's a Democratic president,
Well, yeah.
the Republicans don't go as crazy as the Democrats do. For
I
the
mean-
Republicans.
That's not true.
I think I'd beg to differ.
I
What do you
think,
mean?
I
Yeah, that's
think
not
that,
true.
We didn't try to
No, a lot of like far right people when Obama got elected were like, "Oh my God, we're gonna become
yeah, but we didn't
communists."
try to impeach Obama.
Oh, I think a lot of people did
did.
try to impeach
A lot of
Obama.
people tried.
I think that
Um,
at the time
Yeah,
that
Obama was
Obama was
very-
being
it wasn't
elected and that
globally.
Obama was a hot topic, we
Obama
were too
was
young to really be
very,
involved
very
in that
hated.
news.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
they did
yeah.
try to say that he wasn't a citizen in an attempt to get him basically in turn not elected, but also they brought that up as a reason why he shouldn't be president. And they did call him Satan a bunch of times and the
Yeah.
Antichrist a bunch of times.
So I wanted to add to
The
that budget
Antichrist.
thing you were talking about. I saw this thing and it was instead
off
of
my
buying a wall,
property.
we could buy 2 homes for every homeless person in America. And we could send 970,000 students to college. We could provide health care for 1.7 million uninsured veterans. And recently my mom, she works in Worcester at a school, and so there's a lot of
Got the education sector.
she's
Oh, yeah.
very a
Hell
lot of
yeah.
the kids there are very unfortunate, and they have like a
Yeah, my
District-
neighbor is the principal
Wait,
at that school.
Kyle.
if I
yeah,
remember
they have a
correctly.
district-wide breakfast for the kids who can't afford breakfast, and that recently just got cut. So now kids coming to school hungry. And
So are you saying that the
That's
budget
because
should
of
be
the wall?
reallocated?
Wait, are you saying?
no, I'm
so-
saying that we could focus this budget on something else.
Okay, wait, but Kyle, a lot of times when it comes to budget, you have to focus on bigger issues than trying to solve everybody's smaller problems. Like America just doesn't go around funding African countries, and like
I know.
And
because there's other issues that America has to focus
quick
on
insert here
instead of
on,
just catching everyone else up to our standards.
jurisdictions of various governmental agencies. So the education sector as a whole is actually run by the state government.
Oh, that's true.
That's-
I didn't think about that.
But it does receive federal funds and block
Yeah.
grants and stuff like that. And I think that that program as a whole might be a federal program for the benefit of students. But I'm
Yeah.
not quite sure. I'm not educated on
But-
that particular thing. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
I
know
don't
what you're
know if this also applies to like education, but I know a lot of times things that are regulated by state governments, they although maybe being directly regulated by the state government, they may be more influenced by the federal. Like with the national drinking age. Well, it's not national because it's actually decided by the state, but it's 21 nationwide because the federal government like says to the states like if you don't set this as your like drinking age, then we're gonna like cut funds in like certain places.
So it
Okay.
like just like wants it gets states.
So
to
the federal
abide by
government
the
can't
federal
control
government.
the state government.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
to a
if they did,
to a certain
if they
extent.
did
incentivizes
reallocate
them.
funds, they
It
could
But
incentivize
state,
them.
It's
state
called the
like
categorical
taxes
grant.
would go to the school district, right? Like
Just
federal
incentivizes
taxes.
them
State
to follow
taxes,
them.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Dude, Mount
School
View?
funding is
Oof.
varies per state. So some do it on income tax of the area.
Yeah.
Some do it on property tax.
Yeah.
It's like our state funding system, and this is actually something that you guys could talk to DJ about. DJ's our school president. He represents the school in like school board committee.
He represents it so well.
Don Roy.
But like actual funding for schools and everything like that, it's really complex.
Yeah.
Like in our school, for instance, Wachusett, we have one of the lowest budgets per student out of every single regional school in the entire state.
Yeah.
So
We're doing
Is
okay.
that partially
That's it.
because reluctance
doing okay.
of voters?
Well, a part of it is you receive funding based on like test score performance and everything like that. So we do fairly well in standardized tests and performance. It's also they do it basically on how many people qualify for your reduced lunch. Because the government doesn't necessarily have access to certain records with, how aid is a hard thing to determine for a state
So
government.
comparatively, where does Wachusett line up with the free or reduced lunch compared to like an inner city school?
Probably pretty low.
Less.
All right.
So that's the
So
only
if you
thing.
have-
That, that's
I
the
mean,
only thing
we
they
got
use to
pretty
make
big
that
towns, and we got
calculation.
Just one.
All
of
right,
the,
so
one of
let's
the,
get back to the wall. We
yeah,
got a little
yeah,
sidetracked.
that's-
So,
It's fine. We have
so
time.
look, this wall, it's going to cost $25 billion, right? That's the cost of 20 Hoover dams, and that's
wait,
NASA's
25
$25 billion. That's the cost of.
Well, I mean,
Okay, a
there's
wall
only
itself.
I don't
A
know.
wall
There's
itself
only
is a terrible
out
idea
let him
to build.
finish. Let him,
I
let
thought it
him
was
finish.
5 billion.
Let
Yeah.
Mr. Gunning
Okay,
finish his opinion.
so that's
Master gun.
it's going to be, if you think about it, that's 20 Hoover dams, and that's NASA's annual budget, all right? And it's going to cover 20.
Thank you for those stats.
It's going to
NASA's irrelevant.
It's going to cover 2,000 miles of terrain, and it's going to go through
NASA's fake.
mountains. It's going to go through rivers, and it's going to go through people's homes. People are going to have to be relocated.
Yeah, I read an article about a lady whose like ranch is being split up by this
Yeah.
wall.
NASA couldn't even get on the moon.
So that's actually
well, that happens
Exactly.
all the time.
interesting
though, with, like,
That's also a
transition
small
into,
issue, though.
the governmental policy of eminent domain.
We're gonna get into that later.
Ooh.
We're not gonna get
Ooh.
into
All
that.
right, all right.
Okay,
Sorry,
but so
I
look,
jumped the- I guess
so
I jumped the gun a
we
little
have
bit.
this-
Wait, it's interesting.
Wait, is that
We
have
have
to do
this
with, like,
huge
building
wall.
highways and stuff?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have this huge wall,
and you
which
it's pretty
Yeah.
much the same. Yeah.
okay, so we have this huge wall, which we're going to be paying through taxes for a very, very long time. And what we have to think about is,
Cost benefit analysis.
yeah, but so we're also going to have to pay for
Graph
people
it.
who are maintaining the wall and people who are staffing the
Profit
wall.
over
So you have to think
time.
about that. Like, that's even more added to the taxes you're
And
gonna have
actually,
to-
I was listening to NPR the other day, and there's a senator who his jurisdiction is over 820 miles of the border,
yeah.
and he is like very adamantly opposed to a wall.
Yeah.
So Trump is saying that people do want the wall there, but does he really?
Almost
Wait.
all of Border Patrol supports it though. Like almost.
Wait, so
every
who's
Well, yeah,
saying-
obviously Border Patrol supports it because he put them in place.
Who
Yeah,
says where the exact borders are? There's not
What?
like
Trump
like
put
a
the
line
border
of
patrol
diggers.
in place.
There's like
Trump doesn't choose
there's
each
like a
Border
certain
Patrol
segment
agent.
of area.
He
that's
hires
like
Border Patrol.
Open space.
Not
so
that
weird.
specific
And
agent.
ICE he
Because-
puts in place.
If it's like going over someone's house, can't they just move the wall like?
Dude, that's like saying
back?
the governor handpicks police officers for Holden.
That's just not like that at all.
Yes, it is, dude. What Trump doesn't say? I want Joe Smith to go
That's not
patrol
what I
the
said.
Arizona
Joe Smith.
border.
That's
But
not how
he
it
does
is.
appoint. So like state governments.
Right.
will-
He can
will-
appoint. He can, but he's not the guy that is
Well, no.
hired for.
You're saying he appoints people to Homeland Security, but the individual agents. I'm talking about like interviews with
Adam and
individual
Nick are
agents.
the main features on the webcam right now.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying
Like
Trump
everyone else is like half.
Trump chooses
Look.
federal agents really carefully
look, here's
to align with his policies.
here's the thing. Are you prepared to pay
I mean,
those taxes?
everyone does that.
And your
Most people are
children
more
and your
agreeable.
grandchildren are going to be paying these taxes.
That's just like not true.
Are you prepared to pay taxes for something that's less
Yeah,
efficient?
the American budget's like $2.3 trillion.
I know.
Like 22 billion isn't like
25.
gonna destroy
25.
like our tax rates.
I
looked
it
definitely
up.
gonna
It's
have
it's
a
like
raise,
21.5.
though.
I'd argue that social welfare programs like Social Security
They
and
cost more.
Medicare and Medicaid are the real things. And I'm not gonna. That's a complex issue. I'm not gonna necessarily voice my support or disdain for those programs. But those are the things that are dragging down our budget and
Yeah.
racking up our debt into the multiple trillions of dollars.
Okay.
So what we
Okay.
need is a more efficient budget.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to address the people that do not support the wall. Who doesn't support the wall?
I don't support the wall.
Okay,
I'm kind of
Kyle.
on the
I
fence.
think we need innovation.
I'm
He's
kind of on the wall.
fence.
I'm kind of on
Okay,
the fence. If you know
What
what I'm
other
saying.
what other options do we have?
I'm
if
kind
Yeah.
of
we
like a
don't build the
Humpty
wall?
Dumpty right now.
No,
I
my
don't-
thing is like, if not the wall, then what else do you propose that
Yeah,
will
that's what I'm
strengthen
saying.
border
What
security?
else?
Well, I think that some parts of the border, there's a different response time. Like sometimes the border is right near a major city, so the response time is like minutes and seconds, and sometimes it's in the middle of nowhere, so the response time can be like hours or days. So in those places, a wall might be needed in order to keep people from crossing the border, but the wall isn't needed all over.
Okay, but look
And
at
if
this.
we-
You're looking at like every single illegal immigrant is just walking across. Like 40% of illegal immigrants come on
Walking
planes.
across.
Okay, but
Okay, so shouldn't we
20
allocate the budget into like a screening
And a
process?
okay,
lot
but
of,
what about the other
Yeah,
I would be
and, like,
definitely for that.
I agree with that.
Another
Kyle,
large
in
percentage.
I agree with that.
2015, 350,000 people trying to
You just
cross.
cut out.
Yeah, I realized. 350,000 people in 2015 were just caught trying to cross the border.
Okay,
A
but
Like,
that's
and that was just of the ones who was caught.
yeah, but
right?
so it says there's 11 million people.
13.
13 million, 350,000. That's like
I mean,
That's-
it's,
Okay,
it's
no,
just-
but
small
that's
number
that's
So
compared
one
doesn't
to
year.
that tell
That's
you
one
that that
year.
should be increased?
No,
but
13 million is all the
40%.
people that have come before.
Yeah,
a lot of the illegal
350,000 is
immigrants
one year.
in
but
our
40%
country
every
are
year.
Canadian
Adam.
visa overstays.
Right, but what about
Yeah.
the other 60?
Yeah, no,
Kyle?
most people
60
they
is a majority.
I wouldn't say
No, but-
most. I wouldn't say most. I'd say a lot of people.
no, yeah, no, but people they come over and they just overstay their visas. It's not like they're just walking across
Yeah,
a lot
but
of the time.
That's still
No, they
being here
are a lot
illegally.
of the time though.
That is a lot
And
of
I
the time.
think that,
But
So we need to reform that system then.
That's a lot of the
as
time,
was previously
honestly.
cited in most of like the political comments, drugs are a big problem with the border, and I don't think a wall would stop that. Most of the drugs.
Why
come
wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
drugs
why
are
Most
just
of
wouldn't
the
it
taken
stop
through
it?
port, through
a
port
large,
of
like
entry.
90% of the drugs come from Mexico. That was already previously cited. If you listen to Donald Trump's address, but most of those drugs come across legal checkpoints.
A lot of
Yeah,
the
but
They aren't
opioids,
legally-
They come
especially in
across-
Worcester, come down from Canada through they come. Ooh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So like, you know, like in Canada, how there's like that peninsula that comes like like the whatever like
Yes. Yeah.
up near the Great
So a
Lakes.
lot of opioids are produced in China and then shipped down in there, and then they come across the Canadian border.
So maybe we should have a wall up there.
Yeah,
listen-
but and then everyone else would not for that anyways.
well, like here's the thing.
But
I
we don't
think-
have a.
prioritize
But
all
no,
this-
but
do
we
you
don't.
think-
We
do you
don't
think
have an
people are
issue
not
with
for it?
Canadian immigration.
Do you think people are not for it because of the fact that it's in Mexico, or it's going
Canadians
to be
overstay
bridging
their
us
visas?
between Mexico,
Yeah,
or
but
do you think
nowhere
they're just
near
not
the
for
extent of
because it's a
Mexicans.
wall?
Yeah, no, but still, if you're just gonna go by.
I think that walls are an
One being
archaic
more.
form of defense that
Exactly.
were rendered obsolete after the invention of the cannon.
I really think a wall is very obsolete. Yes.
So what else do we do?
Maybe even
Kyle?
the
I think
latter.
it's just silly.
How is
Okay,
a
look-
wall?
What else do we do?
Reform the
then?
visa
Or a
system.
grappling
Look at this,
hook.
Okay.
Wait, how's a
But
wall?
how is reforming the
obsolete?
visa system going to do anything?
So
people are going
in-
to still overstay their visas.
in
I'm saying
the
find a way
late
to stop.
no, no,
people
no.
from
Okay,
overstaying
in
their
the
visas.
late
There's no way.
okay
Except arresting them.
in the late
Yeah,
like
deportation.
That's what you should
1800s.
do.
Yeah, that would be the reform of the system.
Okay, but in the late 1800s,
happen.
early 1900s,
doesn't
people
stop
used
in
to
the
come
first
to
place.
America and they'd work for a bit and then they'd leave because they have a circular flow of border control, right?
They
Then
would
the
leave.
the
in
Reagan
theory.
the Reagan administration made it harder to do that. So it got harder for people to leave, so they just decided to stay in America. The year that became a thing, the
Should they be
Wait,
coming
wait,
across
no,
in
the
the first
year
place,
that-
though?
Wait,
that-
wait. You said they made it harder for
Nick.
them to leave.
yeah, it made
Am
it
I
harder
on?
for them to come
Why?
back to Mexico
I
because
can't
the
hear myself.
flow of the border became
Nobody can
hear
security
myself.
How did they
Sorry.
make it harder to leave?
I'm
AJ.
also really quiet.
Because-
Turn me up.
Turn me up too.
Carter, it's
You're
hard to
fine.
get
You're
in
fine.
and it's
You're
hard to
fine.
get out.
Oh,
So-
I just sound really quiet.
I can't
But-
hear myself.
So
anymore.
look, so
Yeah, I
that
can hear
year
you.
the rates of like illegal immigrants staying in America
yeah.
went up by 248%. So
Yeah, that sounds way better.
So
Although I'm
Kyle,
a bit
could you give
loud.
us a quick recap?
okay,
Okay.
so
Did you
look,
guys not hear that for a second?
No, we did.
Oh, we did. Okay.
No, this is perfect.
I didn't hear.
Okay,
myself.
so-
No, I mean like, does your guys' volume cut out? Ready? Did you guys ready?
yeah, it did.
Okay.
I just can't hear anyone.
This is way better though.
you're
good.
fine, Satchel.
Good.
All right,
Bow,
look.
bow, bow, bow.
bow. Okay,
What's Kyle? So
So-
what I'm saying, like, let's redirect ourselves.
Let's
Alright.
redirect
So,
What
ourselves.
I need a
other
recap.
form of border can we do, or what other form of?
we just
like,
need to have checkpoints, and then
We have checkpoints.
I feel like
just
there's
that.
I feel
just
like there's
that, though.
multiple
Kyle,
things.
we
that
already
have
have
to
just
happen.
checkpoints.
That's exactly what we have.
Bring
right
it back
now.
to a circular flow of like border control.
There are multiple things that have
That's
to
exactly
happen.
Like,
what we have, though.
Just less restrictions, like so much less restrictions, because the year that the
you
Reagan
want
admi-
less restrictions on the border? When we
yes,
have
because
problems?
the year Carter, listen to this. The year that the Reagan administration made it harder to get across.
What did they do that
back
made it
and
harder?
forth. I don't know. Maybe I'll just look it up. But
There's nothing wrong with having more immigrants.
yeah, I know. But illegal immigration rates went up by 248% that year.
Could I just
Bum,
have my
bum,
whole
bum,
spiel
bum.
Yeah.
on why
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
personally
Get closer.
believe
Yes,
in
yes.
stronger border security? So one of the issues that a lot of people have with it is a lot of the human rights abuses that occur as a result of smuggling,
So like human trafficking.
smuggling, it's very hard for people to go through Mexico, Guatemala, those areas, right? That Central America area. For instance, Guatemala is a very tumultuous place. There's a lot of conflict between the native people of Spanish heritage and
Yes.
the people of Aztec or Mayan
Yeah.
heritage, as in the case of some of my personal relatives. So if you encourage a policy where illegal immigration is a more viable route
Okay.
to stay in the country,
Yeah.
as a lot of people in
Satchel
the
as well.
Democratic Party are proposing, like more paths to naturalization.
Yep.
Naturalization, for people who don't know, is the path to citizenship. What happens is you have higher rates of illegal immigration.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that people are rapists or that they're carrying drugs. A majority of people who are trying to come into our country are just trying to come here for a better life.
Yeah.
You know, there certainly are a few bad people, but you
They
know,
just want to escape these things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
and one thing that we have to realize is a lot of the people who are living in those destabilized regions are living there as a direct result of American imperial interests
Well-
in history. And
Here, let's not get too
Well,
deep into
actually,
this
Nick, over the past
Why not?
4 years,
Yeah, why not
the,
get
uh,
deep into a
the
conversation?
Mexican economy, it's been actually it's been getting so much better, and now people actually
It's
don't.
not just refugees from
That's
Mexico.
I know.
what?
Okay.
almost none of the people crossing the border are actually
yeah.
from
Yeah.
Mexico.
They're
Oh,
from,
from like
South
Honduras
America.
and
They're
Because
from
they're illegally-
Honduras,
Yeah.
Guatemala.
Okay.
They're from South
But-
America.
Yeah,
Just-
those are like all third world
In
countries.
Florida, the
It's-
Cubans and the Puerto Ricans.
But it's just
Okay.
Cuba's
okay.
actually so close to Key West.
That's true though.
No, literally, like they'll come over. Like if you like ever
They'll
go to
swim.
Florida, you see these gigantic rafts.
We
like,
should put
made
a
out of,
wall
like,
around the
driftwood
Floridian
shit.
beaches.
Oh yeah. Well, like, look, if you see people coming, you just mentioned like
They'll honestly just
Rafts,
swim
so-
over.
people come over on boats all the time. How are we gonna fix that?
Should we
Europe
accept people
build
Not
seeking
a wall.
asylum?
Should Europe build
What
a
are we gonna
wall?
have an ocean
But when
wall?
you
Yeah.
increase the path to naturalization for illegal immigrants and encourage illegal immigration as a route to become a member of the country, what happens is you have a spike in those trafficking rings.
Yeah.
And there's sex abuse. People die.
Yeah.
People
See,
are
that's
malnourished.
obviously awful.
At
but
the border? Yeah.
Yeah.
But like this is the problem. I believe in increasing paths to legal immigration, legal naturalization, but when you don't support an increased border security, what you're doing is border security is almost entirely to prevent illegal immigration, drug trafficking. They're not attempting to have people stop coming over legally.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe we open up those doors a little bit more, shut the doors for the illegal immigration, but you're opening the pathway for horrific human rights abuses.
Of course, yes.
And
but-
that's why personally I'm again
Kyle,
I'm
you mentioned
for border
Yeah.
like
security.
us trying to build like a wall in the sea. What percentage
I
of
was
immigrant?
joking.
I know, but
What percent of them
I,
swim?
I,
No,
I don't know
but-
how
no,
many
but
come
what
over by
It's
percentage
land.
actually very
immigrants-
possible.
what percentage of immigrants come by sea?
I don't know.
Probably
I said I don't know.
surprising number.
But it's a lot. It's more than come over by land. And
No.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty
Uh,
sure it is. It's
I don't think so.
yeah.
I think most of it's through the.
But okay,
yeah,
I,
but it kind of goes back to the idea of like if you don't control your borders and you don't know like who's coming into your country, who's going out, it's like you just don't have control.
of your country.
Yeah.
okay, but look,
You-
Border
need
control is
some-
a must.
South America,
We just need to agree on the form.
their economy is becoming a lot better. Over the past 4 years, illegal immigration rates are at an all-time low, and it's getting lower every year. So
Part of that is from the Obama administration's extremely tough policy on immigrants and
Yeah.
But
No. one's
But
talking
no,
about
if they
that.
have a-
Illegal
if
no
they
one
have
was
a-
talking
Trump's
about
if they have
that.
a better
on
look,
immigrants.
if they have a better economy, why would they want to leave though? Like
Wait,
that's-
say
it's
that again,
definitely
say
one
that
of the
again.
reasons.
What
there
country has
is
a
a
better- Say that again.
culture of like there is a view of the United States as this bastion of freedom and this bastion of
And there's
like a
gonna
better
continue to
life.
be
that they yeah.
A lot of
that's
immigrants
valuable.
will actually come hoping for a better life, and they actually get here, and it's not as good as it used to
It's the
be.
American dream.
I was watching
Yeah.
a show called
You don't
Oh,
want those.
don't
90,
have
Those are
that.
90
so
days.
gross.
90 days till
Soaked
like,
in water.
the soggy Twizzlers.
bro, it was like 90 days till like the wedding or something like that. It was like a reality TV show where like an immigrant would come over and they had to get married so they could stay in the country. And like there's just like one guy who we call Tits McGee because like he's this guy with really big tits, and like he lived in Las Vegas,
Okay.
and then this beautiful Brazilian woman who had come over to like stay there and marry him was like, this place is terrible. I do not want to live here because like Las Vegas is like a desert, like a
Las
legit
Vegas
desert.
is so shitty.
She's like, it's so hot and it's just terrible.
Yeah, Las Vegas is. Yeah.
Dude, I feel
hate
like
It's
Las
literally a
Vegas.
desert.
same.
It's
a lot of
literally a
people when they
desert.
think of like below the United States, they forget like all the way south of us, it's not just all along the equator. Like Brazil,
yeah.
Brazil, and like I feel like everyone's like, it's all tropical and it's all jungles, man, and they're all just going around in their goddamn jungles eating bananas. No.
Yeah, it's just all the Amazon River.
The
just
No,
bottom of
there's,
South America
there's like
is
ski
really,
mountains.
really
There's
close
like
to
ski
Antarctica.
mountains at the bottom.
there
of
are
Argentina.
fucking penguins in the bottom of South
Yeah.
America.
Yeah, there.
Bro,
yeah, there's like
Chile-
there's like ski mountains at the
Bro,
bottom
I'm trying
of
to
like Argentina.
ski in Chile. Tell you that. I was so
Okay, but
fast.
You know, a lot of people who like go to
Chile.
Antarctica to like do research like leave from South America.
Yeah.
Because like it's the closest point.
But that's not.
and then it's like a 2-week boat.
Anyways,
What,
border
is it,
wall.
what, if any, what does any of this have to do with the wall?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, no,
It's
it's
like
border
just-
wall.
it's just
We're
an
just
okay.
No,
trying
okay,
It's just a
but
fact.
They usually
other
fly.
options
Kyle,
do we
they
have?
fly.
But look, no, I just like think about that. Like, what
I asked the
if
question,
we-
what is the other option?
if we could
Yeah, what is the other options other than the wall? We went over one. You said you wanted checkpoints, which we already have.
yeah,
I
but
think
no
drone
like
is a
border
good idea.
security,
Oh,
like
so
lessen the border security.
If we were to
than what we have right
outsource
now.
patrol drones and the manning of patrol drones to India,
What's
That'd
that
be dope.
cost?
Probably less than a wall.
Listen,
Honestly,
you
probably
can
less than a
pay them
wall.
like 2 cents an hour just to have a drone connected to some Wi-Fi.
All right, wait,
And
Carter,
they'll probably
I'll
love
give
it
you an
too.
answer.
They'll
I'll give
probably
you an
love
answer.
it. They'll sit on the their
Listen, people
computers all
talk
day.
about like socialized healthcare, like socialized like freaking like college, right? Why don't we just have like a US Wi-Fi network?
Honestly.
That'd be sick though.
Just like everyone has free Wi-Fi. No one ever
So
complained.
basically, net neutrality.
Everyone would try to hack.
No,
No,
that's not.
No.
net neutrality. Net neutrality is
I know, bro.
regulation.
Wi-Fi.
Look, so Carter, I'll
Wi-Fi
give you,
trumps
I'll give you
human
an
rights
answer.
every time.
I want open borders, but I want every like car that comes over to be checked.
That's
That
not
is-
open
that's
border.
not open
That's not
borders
open
then,
border.
Kyle.
That is the definition of border security, Kyle.
Yeah, but no, anybody can come
That's
through.
what we
You don't have to
have.
show a passport. You don't have to show anything, but they randomly select
Who here
cars
has
to-
actually
Not true.
Check.
driven across either the Mexican or Canadian
I've-
border?
I've driven
border,
across
the
the
Canadian
Canadian
border is way different than the Mexican border. I'm
Yeah,
telling
the-
you that.
the
It's
Canadian border, they're
way
just like,
different.
Hey, you from America, eh?
Okay,
right?
come in, come
Oh,
in.
no, you can come in.
No, you just
You don't have your passport. It's fine. It's no, it's
No,
fine.
no.
No.
Who's driven
No,
across
trust me.
the Alaska
I-
Canada border?
Who's come back?
No, honestly, who has been
There are
to Mexico?
so many cameras.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know it's stupid coming back into the
Who
US.
has been to Mexico and came back into the country?
My dad.
Am I the only one? Am I the only one?
Who,
Do you run a
drank
plane,
tequila
though,
in
Carter,
Mexico?
weren't you?
Dude,
Yeah, I
have
know,
this
but we still
brother
had-
There's
named
still
Brett.
customs.
I had to
yeah.
go
Never
through.
came
Yeah, I had to
back.
go through nowhere
customs.
near as
Guys, I had to
crazy.
go through customs in Mexico.
Yeah.
And honestly, this. I'm gonna explain this. So you're walking through the thing, and there's just this machine, and
They
you
have
hit a
anal
button.
probes for drugs.
You hit a button on the machine, and it randomly selects people to check them more thoroughly. But literally,
hearing
that's
music.
the only thing. And then they have some person look at your passport, and if your pictures match up, you go in. The way coming back, you have to check your bags twice to
Yeah.
get back into the U.S.
Yeah, so then
You have to
let's
go
stop
through the
that.
airport security. Why would we just stop that?
Let's stop
Because-
that. What? No,
Yeah,
the goal
why
is
would
to
we stop
All right,
that?
goal is
open
to secure
borders.
the
I
border.
want open borders.
Okay, if I'm going to
Kyle,
Canada,
why?
Kyle, if I'm going to Canada, I don't even think they know. They don't even care if I have bags in my car.
Okay.
They
Kyle,
don't check your
They
Yeah,
don't
they-
check
they
your
don't.
car
Kyle,
at all.
provide one
Actually,
compelling
I used to
argument
go
for
to
all the way
Canada
back.
once.
Yeah,
a month.
oh my
That's not
gosh.
really how it is.
Jesus Christ.
What is?
I used to go to Canada once a month, and that's not really how it is. They kind of look in your car.
They don't.
Every
No,
once in
they
a while, they
don't.
will
No, they
look in
don't.
your car.
Every once in a
once in a
while.
while.
They
I'm
kind
telling
of
you,
look at
Yeah,
your
but
car.
it's
Every
just like
time
not
they
you
as
have,
shoot
strict
they have
as our
mirrors
point.
and they look under your car.
Kyle,
and
it's
crap.
just like
Every
not
time
as
you
strict.
under your
West.
car.
They
not
speak
in
French
it.
to you. I know
And
French.
If
they,
you
no,
were
they ask
hiding
you to roll
something in
down the
your car-
windows.
Drink
They ask you to
Kyle,
roll down
If
the
you were
windows.
hiding something
They
in
look
your
in the
car,
trunk.
like under a seat, they would
In
never
the
find
Mexican
it.
border,
Okay.
they literally take off
In
your
the- in the
tires
Mexican
and look
border.
So
inside
actually-
of
Something
them.
in your
Yeah, because some
luggage
like
in your
a lot of people
Yeah.
like
A lot of
drive-
times they'll
You have to
take
declare
car
alcohol,
cars
though.
and put like
Tires.
cocaine on the ins. So
yeah,
like
yeah,
they put
that's
it in the
what I was
gas
just saying.
tank.
Yeah.
my
gas
dad
tank.
had a car that was like. So my dad got pulled over once by a border security person coming back from Canada from a business
I'm
trip,
hungry at him.
and basically like there's a certain type of
So
car
gross,
you can just take all the panels off and just stuff drugs in it.
And then put sand in there
Yeah.
so
And
dogs
he
can't
had one of
smell it.
them.
No,
He had
dogs
one of
can
those?
still smell
I mean,
it.
he
Or
didn't
like
have any
if you put,
drugs
like,
in it.
Caffeine
Sawdust.
grounds or sawdust. Dogs can't smell it.
Since when is sand an anti-odor?
Yep. It's like
And
what
just
all the
like
kids that
any
walk
odor
around like
material.
vodka doesn't have a smell, guys.
No, but
Everyone put it in their
that's
water
not
bottle. It
what
doesn't
we're-
have a smell.
no, it's just anything that has an odor you can put next to it. And it can confuse a dog. That's
It'll
trying to sniff
confuse
out.
So we
Fucking
should
Oh.
put some Axe body spray on our
T-bone
cocaine.
steaks.
You could.
Axe body spray. The
They don't
smelliest
search you
thing.
with dogs at the Canadian border.
Just put
though.
a few
I don't know on
deodorants
the
in
Mexican
there.
border they do. And they
Wait,
could,
so on
they
the
could
Mexican
bring
border
a
they
drug
have
dog.
dogs that search your car when you go
Yes.
through?
Yeah, they do.
I have not been through, so.
You know what's one of the biggest fucking lies? You know everybody talks about how Costa Rica doesn't have a military?
Asian people.
They have like one of the highestly like militant police because they have so many drug problems.
Dude, they
Yeah.
literally they drive around in armored
Jamaica.
vans.
They drive around
They're in armored
No,
vans.
all those countries like, yeah, we don't have a army, we have a police force. I'm like, because you have to use your army on your people, so you just call it the police.
Literally,
Yeah, like Nicaragua.
Literally
like the
North-
major
I want a
cities, they're
police
like
state.
tanks.
Northern Ireland does not have a government.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't have a government.
They're fucking part
Hey,
of
what's
the
up,
UK.
guys? Welcome to
Yeah,
the
they don't have a
Leftist
government.
Podcast.
Their parliament has
Don't
been shut down
disrespect
for
my
over
home
5
country.
years.
Because they're part of the
Carter, can I have a
UK.
Twizzler?
That's
No, but-
different though. They
No, but
had
they
their
don't
own.
have
Out
like
of
a
Twizzlers.
representative government.
don't
as
have
part of it.
representative-
Oh, yeah, no, it was like with like the
God,
colonies. I get what
don't
you're
want
saying.
Hope they don't get
Oh,
invaded
you know,
then.
I'm
so
hungry.
no, they're run by the
We
UK,
can
but
order
they don't
pizza.
have representation in
I'm
Parliament.
part
Yeah, so you
Irish,
don't
and
have a
my
say.
people were discriminated against
I'm
by the
75%
English.
Irish.
They used to call. It used to say,
Freaking
you know,
white people.
black
John
people,
Kelly is an elf.
gingers need not apply. You know, like they discriminated against us
I feel
proud Irish people.
discriminated
My mom is
against
a
There's
when
more
someone else
ginger people
discriminates
in
against someone
Scotland.
else.
I'm a minority.
Secondary pain.
I'm
There's
actually
more-
Jewish, so
No uterus, no opinion!
There's more ginger people. I mean, there's more ginger
Alright, but
people
so-
in Scotland than Ireland. It's a fact.
no, it's because they're actually from Scotland.
Yeah,
so
it's
like
a
a
fact.
majority, like yeah.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Look, so
The wall.
Gingers
if
are
we can just
sexy.
go back to open
Okay,
borders,
so,
because
my
so
God.
give me one
When we-
alternative
no,
that would
when we-
strengthen border security
when we-
that isn't a wall.
Drones.
Drones.
Okay, I was
You wanna
asking
get
him.
rid
though.
of
But aren't
Laser
you- aren't you not
beam.
for the
Increase
wall?
staffing
Scanning
of
of
border
cars.
patrol.
oh, X-ray scanning.
Yeah.
What?
What'd you say?
That's
Increase
actually a great
staffing.
idea.
Do you know how much
So-
money that costs?
Just
One of
have
the
one.
problems. All right, people
Not
who
one.
say increase
Like
staffing
10 of
over
them.
Oh no,
building
no,
a
no!
wall.
I'm not saying that's a solution. I'm just saying
It
that's
probably
something that
costs
would
less than
help.
$25 billion.
There is
Carter.
technology being
25
developed that would greatly aid the border security. patrols.
Satellites with a laser
Satellites.
beam.
Okay.
Someone
Satellites-
tell Trump.
Satellite-
Someone
I
tell
think
Trump.
all of them should
Those
have a
dog
nuke.
things from
Here.
Black Mirror.
Can I, hold on. I'm just gonna. Okay.
Yeah.
Someone.
Those
Nick,
robotic dogs from Black Mirror.
Nick,
No,
did you
those are
say
space.
satellites? Did someone say satellites?
Satellites would be a great idea.
Satellites can be easily hacked.
Dude, somebody
prevent
tell
fire.
Trump
No,
about
no,
the
what
things
we
that
should
are
do-
being
That's
done.
why we need to have a space force.
Oh yeah. The
Okay,
final
but
we should go to the moon for the first
frontier.
time.
No, in
Someone-
all seriousness,
The
in
ultimate
all
high
seriousness, now,
ground is space.
China
Someone-
is like seriously pouring money, and like we are too secretly. You know,
Secret.
Raytheon
We're
is
doing
building all
everything
that stuff.
secretly.
You know,
Ooh, my uncle
But,
works
like-
at Raytheon.
That's
my
dope.
uncle
Yeah.
does too. But,
Anyone
did-
asked? Anyone asked?
Wait, did
Oh.
but like you like the
He's
next
joking, obviously.
space is the next frontier, and like they're working on Predator satellites that can just like yeet other satellites and take them out of business. But
yeah, I'm
like
serious.
we need like that's why like a
That's
lot
actually
of government investment is going into
Space.
cybersecurity.
The next,
to
the
protect
next country to
stuff like
control
space.
space controls the Earth.
Here's what we
And
should
then the
Honestly,
need for the wall
honestly-
is lower.
Okay, so
everybody's
someone
gonna have
else-
Teslas
Okay,
eventually.
I think
right?
illegal immigration into space should be stopped. How are we going to build
Someone
a wall?
else said drones. Those
We
easily
have to
can be
keep
hacked.
the
There's already
aliens
a
out of our
crap ton of
country,
debris
but we're
up there. You
talking
can't even,
about the
like, fly.
aliens from space.
You can't
We
even,
should
like,
invest
fly
all
there.
government
Aliens in
dollars
space,
into drones.
developed their science
Change my
all
mind.
around the sense of smell. How can they communicate with us?
All right, look. No, I have a solution here. Okay. Everybody's going to have like Teslas, right?
What?
Eventually,
No.
eventually
No.
everybody's going to
Electric
I don't
cars.
think so.
Electric cars.
cars
Not
that
Teslas.
drive themselves, right?
Yeah, because all
No,
brands are going to
no.
go electric. Yeah.
No
Okay,
one's-
let's say in some future.
In
That's
some
that's
future-
where it's
Okay.
going.
In
That's
the
where
way-
it's
some
going.
future-
the way it's looking right
what
now.
we do is we have
That's where it's going.
the government, when we're crossing the
I
border,
sound way better.
sets this thing in their phones, right? That sends out a high-pitched noise that you can't hear. That the sound waves map out the car, and if there's something suspicious,
So sonar.
yeah, if there's something suspicious, then the car will stop because it's like it drives itself.
Wait.
So that should
What?
be psychics then?
What?
Could you say
Psychic?
that again?
No, so sonar will
bum,
map
bum,
out the
bum.
car from your phone,
Okay,
Okay.
how does this have
and
to
then
do
if
with the
there's
wall?
something suspicious,
How
then your
can-
car
how
will
can it
stop
see
because it's like
inside?
connected to
How
your
is
phone.
privacy?
Because
How is-
sonar.
Where's the privacy in that?
Where's the
Wait. Are you just talking
doesn't matter,
about
it's sonar.
motion sensing outside of a self-driving
So basically,
car?
we just want to have a big
That's
motion
already a
sensor
thing.
in space.
No,
Yeah,
no.
that's
if it
already
sees a
thing.
gun,
Your
it's
phone
gonna
is
stop
gonna
the car.
send out a sound that can map out everything in your car.
Send out a
The car already
sound.
does that.
The car already does that?
Wait.
If someone
The car doesn't
Rephrase.
send out
What is-
sonar.
what is your
rays.
phone going to do?
The cars
and it
basically
was
speaks to
sonar?
all the
No,
cars.
it'll be you in the car.
Hi,
There'll be no
Gerald,
border
it's
control.
The car
you.
already
The
does
Jeep.
that.
Oh my God.
The car doesn't send out sonar
car
rays
doesn't-
to other
Phone doesn't
cars.
control the
Oh look,
car.
it's carrying
No.
the K car.
No, I'm saying is that your phone will map out the car, send it to some computer, and then if there's something suspicious, then the computer will make the car stop.
Suspicious as in what?
As in like something, I don't know, drugs. But you can't really
Drugs?
map out with sonar. Whatever. That's a stupid idea.
Did that laugh you did? Okay,
Anyways.
All right.
We still haven't gotten.
let me ask you this.
We still haven't got a good alternative to
Let
the
me-
wall. We still haven't got a go.
Well, I
haven't
can,
got
I
one.
give you
Because
guys
there
a
is
I
no
can respect
direct
drones
alternative
as an
to a
alternative
wall.
to a
idea.
wall.
No, it's not.
There
I
is
can
no
respect
direct
Satchel.
alternative to a
Satchel, they can be
wall.
hacked. It's easily.
No, but look,
People's
satellite.
drones get hacked all the time. Same with satellites.
Drones are used successfully in the military.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
there's no
Alright.
direct.
what if we
like-
just don't
Yeah,
even
not
need
for
a
border
wall?
patrol.
We just don't need a wall, and we could just keep it how it is.
We don't.
Because
need a
there's an
wall.
issue at the border.
No,
Kyle.
there's not. It's at an
Does need-
all-time low
Kyle,
right
what are
now.
you
No, it's
talking?
not.
Yes,
Even
it is.
Obama admitted that there's like a major issue.
Yeah, it's not
like,
a
at the
crisis
border.
though.
Yeah, but
It's
at
not
an
a
all-time
crisis.
It's
low.
going to
If
be.
Trump calls a
National
fucking state of emergency, I swear to
emergency.
God.
Compared
It's
to
going to
early
be.
It's gonna
2000s,
happen.
late
If it happens, we're
1990s,
impeaching him. Simple
it's
as
so
that.
much less of an issue,
What?
buddy.
It's actually true though.
So
It's
Yeah,
at an
but
all-time low
the
right
process of impeachment. So
It's still an issue though, Kyle.
you impeach in the House, right? But that's just being called to trial. The actual act of removing the president
It's
from
not called
office
How long
impeachment.
would that take?
happens in the Senate.
Yeah, but
now.
Kyle,
No, but we're always
Kyle,
going to have
shut
an
up.
issue.
Yeah, no,
Let's
but
just make
yeah,
ourselves
but
an
Kyle,
island like
but Kyle,
England.
that's like saying
What?
we have a lot more technology now than we did 20 years ago. So let's stop innovating because it's better than it was.
Yeah, a wall is not new technology.
Okay, no, but that's not what I'm
Exactly.
talking. It was an
Exactly.
analogy.
When has a wall
Kyle.
not come to a bitter
Okay,
end?
can a wall be hacked?
Wall isn't a representation of innovation. We need
Screw the
innovation.
bureaucrats.
Does
That's
anybody
not
know
what I'm saying.
The wall is
Babylon?
No,
outdated
I'm not
ineffective.
Walls have
comparing-
never worked.
I'm
Walls are
not
not
com-
innovative.
I'm not comparing the wall to technology, right? You
just
said
did exactly
no,
that
no,
from
no.
the beginning.
Kyle said we shouldn't. We should keep it the same because immigration now is better than it was before,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But that's like saying we should stop innovating because we have more technology than we did
Why
20
do we need
years
to
ago.
innovate at the border?
No,
It's, like,
but
dumb.
I'm just saying
But
in
I forget
general,
the
why would you
dictionary.
not keep working
Sydney.
towards something better?
Sydney.
Well, we could totally focus our efforts.
That's like saying,
on something
okay,
that's
music.
better.
But it's just like saying, okay, our music sounds really good. We're just gonna keep it the way it is.
Well, all right. Here's
No,
my
it's
problem
not.
with the wall.
Yeah, that is.
Does
No, it's
anybody
not.
If
know
we're not gonna
of
innovate, what's the point?
anybody know of
think a
the
creative
ancient
field is different
civilization
than a-
of Babylon?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Babylon was one of the first civilizations in human history. You know, it was a great civilization, and it's very famous for the Great Wall of Babylon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
bitter end.
Does anybody know of the great civilization of China?
No.
Oh, they have a wall. Does that stop illegal immigration?
Not
No,
anymore.
because
It
nobody
did.
wants to come to
It
China.
stopped
It
warring
did.
And stopped the war. What?
It
Did the
stopped
wall?
Yeah, but right
Did the
now.
Great Wall
Right
of
now.
China
It didn't
keep
stop
Genghis
illegal
Khan
immigration, it
out of
stopped-
China?
Yeah. Right. It
Then
did.
that's
No.
No, it didn't.
No,
Oh,
it
I'm just.
The Great Wall of
Grappling hooks,
Babylon
ladders.
fell. The Great Wall of China did not work against.
Yeah. And
Well,
do you?
but
do you
that's
no,
that's
no,
also
look.
because like
Ow.
there was only like certain sections that were built in the Great Wall of China. Like it
Bro.
wasn't continuously.
Look,
Yeah.
Genghis
There's
Khan
holes in the
Wait,
wall.
guys.
Chinese. Whoa.
No, you actually brought up a good point.
There's
These
holes in the
walls are
wall.
gonna fall apart eventually.
Yeah, Adam,
right?
why
And
is
we're gonna
our
have to
wall
pay
any
to
different
fix
than the
them.
other walls that
Why,
have
do you
failed in
really
the
want to pay to
past?
fix them all the time?
Got him, coach.
Do you want to pay to fix them every year? Do you want to pay to
Yeah,
maintain?
it's like
Yeah, but what
it's
else
like,
can we do, Satchel?
I mean, it's like
Also,
$120 million
satellites,
a year. But like,
Satellites
what's
are
wrong with
for the
that?
wall.
There's like
Drones
It's
are
a
used
lot of money.
successfully
there's
in
the
the
things that
military.
always have to be regulated.
Oh, if we see someone
But
crossing
it's
the
just-
border,
it's
that
unnecessary.
that doesn't stop them.
What?
Hold on, 1 second. If you said drones, right? If we have drones on the border, that's just adding a viewing angle. That's not saying okay, we see that person over there. Okay, what if the other
Send
person?
a missile.
yeah.
You can use drones
if-
for more than just viewing.
What can they? What
You
would
can
they do?
develop technology for it and put a machine gun in it.
Or
Got all those
like a
bitches
net.
dead.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, so
Killing
just,
people much better than
Yeah.
keeping them out.
Yes.
Much
killing
better than
babies.
building a wall, right? Much better than that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
like obviously.
Just name a wall that's worked, then I'll be on your side.
You can
Any
never
any
keep
household?
People, out. People are
any
always
household-
gonna find a way in. You know.
No, people break into
Yeah,
houses all the
people
time.
will always find a way
Yeah,
in.
we need to address the people who are finding their way in.
The
you know.
women and children.
Exactly.
What about
Exactly.
airplanes? Airplanes. 40% of illegal.
Kyle, that's only
bro.
40%. What about the other?
Those are the
That's
rich
a
people
big
that we
amount.
want.
Yeah, that's a big amount,
If
but
we
that's
take
not
care
a
of
lot.
40%, that would greatly decrease.
That would.
Yeah, and Trump hasn't mentioned
Very
any.
greatly
addressed
Yeah.
to
What's
these.
the
Trump has
other?
not addressed that.
What's
at
the
all.
other 60%?
Part of it is water and part of it is land.
Well,
And
water,
most
like
of it is
3% of water.
No,
Okay, but
it's a
Kyle,
lot
Kyle,
more. I'll look it
Kyle,
up right now.
even
Human trafficking is different.
even
So a
just
lot
like-
of human
even just like
trafficking happens
10%
on
is a lot.
boats.
Yeah, I know. That's
Even
why.
10%
That's
is
not,
a
Yeah,
lot.
even
that's
if it's
not
only like
immigration though.
10
Yeah, then that
10%.
means 40%
That
is
is,
a lot.
they're
Adam.
they're immigrating into the country.
40%
Not
is
by
Oh,
by
a lot.
Yeah,
choice.
but yes,
we have to admit
It is
that.
a lot.
Well, like so a lot like those are smugglers. Sometimes it's not human trafficking, but smugglers also use boats. Smugglers have been using boats since like the dawn
Since
of
the
smuggling.
Yeah,
age
because
of
you can't like,
Babylon.
regulate
Beginning.
boats.
Like when you think of a smuggler, do you think of like a guy like sneaking around in like a truck, or do you think of some guy on like a boat?
I think of an
Boat
Egyptian
people are
paddling
like
down the
seedy
Nile.
people.
Dude, boat
you
people.
like boat people? Like, can we please talk for a second about goddamn boat people?
I love boat people.
No, not like yacht people. Like,
No,
Not yacht
let
people.
boat
I love
people,
ferry
bro.
people.
Salty.
Ferry
No, like,
people.
dude, fucking
no, not
like
even
rowboat.
ferry people.
Deep sea fishermen.
No,
people.
John,
No,
like a rowboat
rowboat.
people. that
Rowboat
just
people.
Oh,
Get their little boat on the little
Like a dinghy.
shoreline.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have to drag it onto
Oh.
shore
Middle of the night, you see someone.
They pull out the
in a
canoe, the
rowboat.
wood canoe.
with a small lantern.
With a small lantern, just like
Pirate.
Anyways, okay,
carrying
so
a satchel of sugar that they're smuggling from Cuba to the United States.
And a harpoon.
By sugar, I mean cocaine.
Okay.
was some
I just found it
ASMR.
out, Kyle. So it's estimated that approximately 1 million people come to America every
boat.
year illegally.
By boat.
No, just illegally, just in general, out of
And
all forms.
400,000 of them
Right?
Are on a boat.
planes.
And
I mean,
no,
on a plane,
wait,
sorry.
1 million, and then 350,000 of those are just coming across the border.
Why would we
That's
spend
less than the plane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's less than the plane. And that's less than
$35 billion
everything else.
But
You
but
can't
on
deny
Kyle,
that.
but
That's
Kyle,
less than,
there's-
like,
100,000
but why is there
300,000?
still something wrong with taking care of that 35%?
Yeah, but we
Then
can
why do you not
easily
give any
take
care to
care
the
of
other
that
care of
75%.